everything has changed. Despite the inevitability of Her Majesty the Queen's eventual passing, it has not made the past few days any easier for many people. Her death has not just created a sense of profound sorrow, it has also created a sense of disorientation too. Lots of us have the same questions. What happens next? Where do we go from here? And what does the future hold? Right now nobody really has the answers. That is what happens when someone passes away, and that is why we come together to try and make sense of it all. It gives us a sense of our own mortality. I have been privileged to have seen that happen, having spent the last few days presenting GB news from outside Buckingham Palace. I use that word, privilege, quite deliberately. It truly has been an honor to play a very small part in what is now without doubt the biggest single news event of all our lifetimes. The scale of the public reaction to the Queen's death has left me in awe of people's vulnerability and need for things to stay the same. Monday's funeral will be an event like nothing the world has seen. This week, over and over again, people I've met have said the same thing. We feel like we've lost a member of our family, they say, often through tears. She was like our own grandmother, our mother, is another tribute which has been repeated. And over again, the same comment with a sense of bewilderment, we just thought she'd always be here. Millions of people from right around the world have poured into London in the past week. Many of them have headed for those snaking queues, often standing in line for more than 12 hours, to say farewell to Her Majesty. Others have left flowers, then said a prayer at the gates of Buckingham Palace. Many have congregated at the Mall, where it seems incredible that only weeks ago we celebrated the Queen's Platinum Jubilee with a concert. I have also been struck by the huge number of people who have simply headed to the centre of London to quietly walk the streets of the capital, taking time for some quiet contemplation and to think about the events of the past few days. Yet wherever people have gone to say goodbye, one thing runs through their behavior like a thread. They have shown respect, kindness, goodwill. Those queues leading people to the Queen are the best illustration of that. Even in the marathon lines, there has not been so much as a shove from anyone. Instead, kind folk have stood, respectfully, and shared goodwill, drinks and snacks with those around them. Seeing so many people doing the right thing was one reason why I became irritated seeing the images of protesters screaming abuse as the Queen's coffin passed them. Thankfully there were only a couple of flashpoints. I know the arguments for free speech and the right to protest, but there is a time and a place for everything, and a funeral cortege is neither. If the events of the last week have taught us anything, it is that despite all the problems the country has faced in recent years, and the challenges which lie ahead, there is still room for respect. The Queen's death may have broken the heart of the nation, but in her passing we have seen a face of Britain which can give us great hope for the future.